Hey guys, this is Sam, and the HomePod leaks just keep on coming. At this point, it is absolutely ridiculous. We've seen the iPhone 8's design, we've seen new features about the iPhone 8, and now we've heard about a new Apple TV and new Apple Watch, all from the same place from a source that is Apple themselves. There's a lot to get into, so let's go ahead and jump in. So if I had to pick between a new Apple TV and a new Apple Watch, by far, I definitely enjoy an Apple Watch more than an Apple TV. I've been wearing the Series 1 since it first came out in 2015. I upgraded to the Series 2 that was released last year in September of 2016, and it looks like we will be seeing a Series 3 hopefully launch alongside the new iPhone in 2017. But Bloomberg just recently released a report saying that the next generation Apple Watch, 2016, I think Bloomberg was one of the first to report that the second generation Apple Watch, the one that Apple released in September of 2016, would have cellular functionality. That didn't turn out to be the case. Kind of meh Apple Watch with slightly faster internals, better waterproofing, something that hopefully we will be seeing with the third series, or Series 3. Bloomberg also reported that LTE was in testing for the Apple Watch Series 3, which is going to be really great because I couldn't imagine using 3G speeds on an Apple Watch. Sure, it would work independent of the iPhone, but I feel like anything without LTE today just feels like you're using a turtle to do anything. Slow as a turtle is the actual phrase. So I definitely think that LTE would be the best move for the next Apple Watch. Now, to back that information up, just today, the HomePod leaks have continued. Somebody found in the HomePod's code a reference to a SIM-enabled Apple Watch, which is just awesome because not only does that mean that Bloomberg has been hearing the right thing, it means that an Apple Watch with SIM or cellular functionality is actually in production. Apple is working on this. It's not just a rumor. It's pretty much confirmed that a third series Apple Watch with cellular functionality is going to be making its debut at some point in the future. In addition to cellular functionality on the Apple Watch Series 3, Daring Fireball also published a little tidbit of information after Bloomberg published their initial report. And Daring Fireball says that this new Apple Watch would feature an entirely new design, or at least that's what they had been hearing. So maybe Apple will continue to update the watch every 2 years with a new design like they've done for the iPhone. I would love a thinner version of the Apple Watch because even though this one isn't thick and it feels pretty nice on your wrist, I think that'd be really cool. I also think it'd be cool if Apple made a round watch face because when this first was announced, a lot of people had issues with the rounded rectangle screen because a lot of the other Android smartwatches had these really beautiful watch faces that were circular. At the time, Johnny Ive didn't want a circular watch face, and I don't think he said one would be coming anytime soon in the future, but if we could get a circular Apple Watch, I think that would still be the best option, just because with all the circular icons already embedded on the home screen of the Apple Watch, feel like a circular design would make a lot of sense. We'll have to wait and see. Bloomberg says that the new watch will be announced sometime before the end of the year. I assume probably at the same time as Apple has their iPhone 8 and iPhone 7s and 7s Plus event, but I'm really excited to see this watch because a redesign is always exciting. Also rumored to be released before the end of 2017 is a brand new Apple TV. The last Apple TV was introduced in October or November of 2015, so we are well overdue for an upgrade. Generally, Apple updates things every year. The Apple Watch has taken a 2-year hiatus. So the new version has been rumored to support 4K and HDR video. I reported a while back that we're seeing iTunes is beginning to support 4K and HDR content in the back end because they're probably prepping for a 4K and HDR. You can see in the code for the HomePod, it looks like Apple is working to integrate 4K and HDR content into the next Apple TV. I still cannot believe how much we've learned from the HomePod. It just keeps getting crazier and crazier every day. I wouldn't doubt if we saw a new iPad or MacBook full design leaked inside of this HomePod somewhere. It just seems like Apple has crammed all this information, maybe on purpose, maybe by accident. At this point, it almost feels like this was a planned move because this is a lot of information to be hidden inside of one piece of software. Earlier this year, Bloomberg had reported that a 5th generation 4K and HDR enabled Apple TV was in testing, and they said that it would launch before the end of 2017. And based on the code found in the HomePod and the stuff happening with iTunes, looks like that will definitely be the case. So I could see Apple doing two things for these products. Number one, they could announce both the Apple TV and the new Apple Watch at the iPhone event that hasn't been confirmed yet, but that's probably happening in September. Or they could just focus on iPhones alone in September and maybe throw in the Apple Watch and do a second event like they've done in the past in October or November, talking about new Macs, a new Apple TV, and if they didn't announce it at the September event, an Apple Watch Series 3 too. So that's gonna be all for now. If you enjoyed this video, as always, it would really help me out if you hit that like button down below. And of course, hit subscribe if you want to see more videos on future Apple products in the future. I've been Sam. I hope all of you are doing great, and I'll see you guys later. So I opened my window for the first time today to experience the outdoors. This is why I don't go outside.